Hi guys, it's Robin. This is my entry for Laura Ashley's video response for her 1,000 plus Subbie giveaway. Congratulations, Ashley. That's amazing. I love watching your videos and your style of scrapbooking. It's awesome. So her challenge was to leave a comment on your favorite technique. Mine is definitely using my mists. I use them all the time and I use them in different ways. Then if you followed her on Instagram, again, same thing, leave a comment. Follow her on Instagram and leave a comment and telling the same thing. And then if you wanted a third entry, it was doing a video response showing your technique. So I'm going to do that. And this is my daughter, Rachel. A few years ago, it was early spring or late spring for one of her sessions for her senior pictures. She decided to do a few sessions throughout the year just to kind of document her year of high school. I'm using my March Scraptastic kit, and the main page I'm going to use there is that Lucky Stars that has a days of the week on the front. This doesn't make it on there, and I do cut out some of these flowers here because in the picture we just kind of pulled off on the side of the road and there was this field, and the photographer was just taking some miscellaneous pictures of her, and she was walking down this lane and she stopped and she bent over and she picked these weeds. They were little flowers on them, but they were basically weeds. And then she started walking towards them again and got that shot, and it's one of our favorites. And she's just wearing a very simple sundress that she got from it was either Wet Seal or Forever 21, and she borrowed her sister's boots. So there you go. She didn't go spending a lot of money on anything fancy. She had also done some sessions on the beach early in the morning with the sunrise, so those turn out really neat. She did, during the winter, she did a studio session with him indoors. And then in the fall, she was at a friend's farm, and his uncle let her come and take some pictures, or have pictures taken of her at the farm. It was really cold, but we got some great shots. So this picture is one of my favorites, and you'll see later, I had a hard time scrapbooking it for a long time because the sky, the blue in the sky is so original in color that I could never match it. So I finally decided just to contrast it and, complement it. So I loved it. I loved how it turned out. Now my technique, I'm afraid, got lost well, I think I know what happened. My husband was hanging a shelf for me in my room, and he was kind of on my table. I have a really, really long tabletop that my father-in-law made me, and it's sitting on cabinets that he also made. So Eric was hanging my shelf for me because I had to rearrange my room when I got some IKEA furniture. And at one point he jumped off or something and it made my camera bounce, and I looked up and it was still recording, but it was upside down. So then I stopped the camera and I had to close it and start it again. It was still upside down. So I was like, what the heck? So I turned it off again, started it, and it recorded again, but something happened and I lost some video. So I'm really upset about that, but I will explain how I did my misting technique on my background paper. So this yellow is very, very bright, but I'm really glad I used it. It's also from the March Scraptastic kit, and it's a basil cardstock, and it's called Grapefruit Bliss. This paper I love. It's an Amy Tan paper, and it says, live the life you love the life you live, but it does not make it on this page at all. I've tried to use this gray paper as well, and I really, really tried hard to use this tissue paper that my order comes in when I buy from Paper Issues. Cassie wraps it beautifully in this black and white houndstooth and ties it with a red ribbon, and I've been saving the tissue paper because I want to use it as elements on my scrapbooking pages. And it just didn't make it on this one, but it does make it on others, so you'll see that eventually. Here we go. Okay, so this is the part we missed, but I'm going to explain what I did. I simply got a piece of wax paper, a decent size of wax paper. I laid it on my table right there. I took 3 colors of mist and I just squirted it directly onto the wax paper, a little bit apart, not right next to each other because I didn't want the colors blending and making new colors. And then I just put the paper face, the side I wanted it on, I put it down into the mist color, and keeping the paper steady, I rubbed the back of the paper so that the color would pick up around the page, and you lift it up and there it was. So I did it up in one corner and down in the opposite corner. It was really very easy. So again, you just take some wax paper, unless you have that Tim Holtz mat, which I don't have yet. I just spread it directly on the paper and kind of like a triangle. I kind of did a triangle up top, and then down below I just did them in a row, leaving a little bit of space in between each spritz onto the wax paper. I inverted the paper, the side I wanted the ink on. I put that side down into the ink, and leaving the paper steady, I rubbed the back side of it to make sure it soaked up into the paper. And then I just used my heat gun and dried it. Now that coral turned out kind of light, but I like it because I don't have a lot of coral in anything really. There are some pink and peach tones in some of the accents I use, some of the embellishments I use, so it was enough to pick up on that. I used the yellow spritz, smooch spritz in goldenrod yellow to match that background paper, and then I used my Heidi Swap coral was the one color, and then the Heidi Swap, I want to say it was the teal blue. So I cut out the middle of that yellow paper so that I could have that center so it wouldn't be a waste. And now I'm just going to do some layering. Now this piece of paper that I'm outlining right now was not in the kit. I pulled it from a February kit that I had purchased, and it is by Fancy Pants. It's called Be Loved, and the title of the paper is Love Letter Pink. And it just has really soft cream script, and I really just like the subtlety of it all. And even though they're different scripts, it kind of matches the days of the week on that main paper. Now, I never would have thought I would have used that for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday paper for Rachel's senior picture, but I just really liked that the gray is a nice neutral, and it allowed me to use color on it. And here I go with this houndstooth tissue. I wanted to add some texture, so I crumpled it up and I tear it up a little bit. A fabulous idea, and I love it. It just wasn't matching after a while, but I didn't want to cut this out because I wanted you to see my process and my way of thinking. Great thought, wrong page. See, it's just kind of not, tissue paper is awesome. I don't know why we don't use it more. And it's really inexpensive. You can get it at the dollar store in all sorts of colors. And they even have pattern tissue papers in places, you know, Walmart, Target, whatever. I think maybe we should just try and, try that out. It's an inexpensive embellishment that adds lots of fun and texture and layering, and really easy to manipulate. You can do a lot with that. You could even mist that if you wanted to. Okay, this paper is, it had the speech bubbles. It's from the Scraptastic kit for March. And it had speech bubbles on the one side, and then the side I'm using had this pinky coral cream, well, the background is cream, but the pinky coral small polka dot on there. And I really like that a lot. And I wanted to be sure to have a row or two border of those dots so you could distinctly see. And that's where I pulled the coral out for the background misting. Now I used this Love. I got that from a little thing I got from Target, and I want to say it's from My Mind's Eye. I had the 3 by whatever size that is, and I also got the 4 by 6 size of the same pad. I fussy cut these flowers out to match what she was holding in her hand, those weeds. That turned out lovely. I really want to use the blue and the white because those were the colors she just happened to pick. I do add yellow. I will add a white flower later. With this flower, I did use my yellow Wink Stella marker and colored that flower in just to match the background and pull all the colors together that I've used throughout the layout. And I really like that love because it had all of the colors I was using in different tones, but they complement each other. This right here, right now, I pulled also from that February kit that I was pulling from, and it had file folders in it. You can see one laying off to the side that I'm going to cut and use as an embellishment. And this right here, right now, I actually cut it in half and just use the heart portion of it later on. I think this is when I'm realizing that those aren't going to make it. This little snippet that says this is also from the March Scraptastic kit. I love these little snippets. They just really work well. They're easy to use, and they're great for layering. Another snippet that you'll be seeing here, actually it's laying off to the side there, it's that gray oval one down there. It says you on camera. And Rachel is a very, as I've talked about her plenty of times, she keeps to herself. She's kind of, well, she's really coming out of her shell now, which I'm so glad about. But, you know, she was really quiet and kept to herself, but something about her in these pictures, she just bounced off the film. I mean, the camera loved her. The photographer said the camera loves her. And she's never taken a modeling class ever. People ask her all the time, but that's not her thing. I mean, I think she likes it, but she wouldn't like the dog world of it all. You know, the rare of becoming a model and, you know, the photo shoots and the challenges and you know, that's just not her personality. But I'll be scrapbooking more of them and you'll see. She's just, actually, all of my kids are pretty photogenic. I'm not. My husband can be when he's being serious, but he's a big goofball, so I don't know where they get it from. Yeah, anyway, I decided to use some baker's twine, and I just wrapped it around my fingers and made a bow and stapled it onto that love, and I also covered that love with an overlay from DIY, I believe it was. And I love the overlay because it mimicked the exact colors I'm using. And it was just meant to be. And then the yellow piece that the love is sitting on is the packaging that those snippets came in. So I just cut off the company name on the top, and I just used it because it's a light yellow. It's a different yellow, but it complements. And then it had a very faint chevron pattern to it. And I'm like, I'm using this packaging. This is awesome. And here's that file folder. I'm not going to use it as a file folder. I'm just going to use it as a layering piece. And I also picked up this amazing. So it doesn't really have a formal title. I wanted her more or less to be the focal point, as we all do with our scrapbooking pages, but the you on camera and then the amazing and then the love to me was just enough. So there you go. It doesn't really, I'm calling it love you on camera, but oh, these butterflies were such a pretty element. I decided to leave them plain. They're very thin wood veneer, and they came as an embellishment in the kit, and they were just perfect. You know, her photo's very natural, so I brought in natural element there. I'm getting into my stash of flare there, and I'm so excited because I'm using one I bought last summer on clearance from Michael's, and it's just a pretty pink and blue flower, and I'm finally utilizing it, so I'm so excited. I decided to cut off that speech bubble part on that snippet, so it's just a circle. Okay, I lied to you. Not on purpose. But I'm just using my clear Wink of Stella. It's just giving the butterfly a little bit of shimmer. There's no color to it. It's just a light shimmer. And it's really pretty. And then I use that again on the background for the days of the week. I skip a line, so every other line is going to have this clear shimmer to the wording. You'll see me do it later. People are asking me where I get this bottle of my Scotch glue with the thinner red tip. This was a bottle I bought 2 years ago at a crop, and I just keep refilling that bottle with that tip because, as we all know, the new bottles have a wider tip that everybody hates. Well, the crafters might like it, but the scrapbookers hate it. So it's great for us because it comes out in a thinner bead, but crafters, I guess it was driving them nuts and they wanted a wider tip. So Scotch did that for them. However, now the scrapbookers are upset. So I don't know. It's just, if you have this bottle, save it. My only thing is maybe look on eBay, because I'm sure with as many bottles as they have manufactured, I'm sure out there somewhere on Amazon or, a scrapbooking store, old Targets, someone has to still have some of these bottles with the red tip. So my advice to you is, if you have this bottle, keep it and just keep refilling it. So, and hopefully Scotch will offer both, but who knows? Supply and demand, that's what that is. I'm just going to use some enamel dots from my stash as well, and the teal, the yellow, and the pink. This was really this is the first time I used my mists in this way on that background paper. I've seen it done, but I've never tried it myself. And so Ashley's challenge / giveaway was the perfect opportunity for me to do something different than just, splatter them like I do or mist over things like I do. I also use my mists to color my white dimensional paint. I've done that before, and then I've used them with a mask or moldings, and I really like that as well. Mists, to me, you can do so much, and I think it's an inexpensive thing because they last for so long, and they come in so many different colors. You can just do so much with it. I've also used them as painting. I'll dip them out onto a plate, and then I use a brush and I paint over. I did a layout last night using that technique, so that video should be up as soon as I can edit it and get it up. I've been having a really hard time with YouTube uploading videos. It takes forever, like a day, and I have to keep canceling it, doing it over and over and over, and it's really frustrating. But this next week is our spring break from school, and my BFF Bradley's coming over, and we are going to scrapbook. And he actually texted me last night. He's like, "You're not the only one with paper issues. I just spent $70-something at Michael's on paper." So that'll be my fault. But anyway, he's really creative too, so he's also a classmate of mine, and we're just gonna have some fun one day and create stuff. So here I go with the Wink of Stella, and I'm not going to show you the whole process, but like I said, every other line I'm going to do this. I'm just going over the lettering and just giving it a little bit of glitter. I really need to get the rest of her, because now Shelby's a senior and we're doing pictures with her and such, so I'm way behind. Maybe by the time Carlton's a senior, I'll be scrapbooking Shelby's senior pictures. That's horrible. There we go. I skipped right up to that. So we'll be seeing some close-ups here pretty soon, so you can see get a better view of this photo. It's just really pretty. It was natural. Like I said, we pulled off on the side of the road. We saw this field, and she said, "What about here?" And he's like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah." And so he's like, "Okay." And it just turned out beautifully. So anyway, Ashley, congratulations again on all of your subbies. Well deserved. You're a very talented lady, and I look forward to your videos all the time. So I hope you like this, and I should have 3 entries now. So if not, it was just, fun, and there's a bunch of talented people out there. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity. I will talk to you all later. You have a great week. Bye.